Greetings. Happy New Year. It's first day of 2024. This segment I'm entitling What I've Learned. And I've got some things here. This is a broom and a club. I've got some pine cones, which is my backyard. I call it backyard basics. I'm going to hit a ball or pine cone as it is to illustrate some of the basic principles that I've learned in 65 years. So I want to give credit to my mentors, Sean Clements in Canada, really good. John Hensing in Australia. Brian Sparks, deceased last year tragically in London, England. And there are many more. But I've got two levers here. One is obviously a broom. The other, I've got a pitching wedge. So what I'm going to do, this is a lever, and I use this. It's a simple, probably all of you have one, you know where it lives. So this is a lever. I'm using my body to turn this. And when I go back, I'm setting this lever in motion. When I come through, I don't want it to smack me in the side, so I turn with it. Now, if I had a flash casting a fly rod, it's pretty easy to do this, a bullwhip, but it's linear. But now we're going around here. We have to do that same casting motion, and skipping a rock is similar. So I'm going to show you what takes place. There's a sequence. Of course, number one, we have to have a good grip and neutral. So what I want is my hands in a prayerful manner. I want them to wrap around there and be always facing that way. So this comes in here, this comes in here. This is the Barden overlap, doesn't matter. You have interlock, baseball, doesn't matter. I have small hands. This seems to work for me. This thumb is always on here, does nothing but ride. This is my trigger finger. So this, if I had a sledgehammer, it would work very well. You can see that my knuckles are working together, but I've got to go that way. So I've got to arrange my body in a specific manner. So how do I do that? Well, here's my pine cone. Get rid of this out of the way. Here's my pine cone, and I come in, I get my linear line of sight, my target line. I set this. Now, I want to get a whip, and I get it like this. Bobby Jones, it's called drag loading. His hands went back, and the club stayed there. Now, I'm creating that whip. It's called lag. So it's a circular twirl. John Hensley calls it, he's got a name for it, but we want containment. That's one of his words. So I may be too close to that wall. I don't want to knock my wall down. So this should be good. Yeah, I'm all right there. I'll put it back just a little bit. So I set this up here on my shoulder. It feels good for a sledgehammer. On my shoulder, like Continental Soldier. Now I turn, and as I do that, I lift this lead toe, and I'm turning my hips, my bottom, my tailpipe towards the target that way. What that does is a counterbalance, and this is gravity golf. David Lee's passed also. So and Sean, he comes up here. He's gathering, and he clamps, and then he clamps into that ground. And this is ground force. It's this move. That's where we really get the power. So I go up here, and a bent arm is fine. Baseball is bent. Played a little. And you think of other sledgehammer, it's bent. not out there like that. But when I come down, it will straighten. This momentum and inertia, centripetal force, gravity, everything will pull it down. And then I'll get this thrust, and clear. So it looks like this. Keeping it simple. Simple is the best. So as I go up, I'm actually going up and turning. So Mike Smith in Scotland, he calls this the 45. Makes perfect sense. I go up, turn, gather. It'll look like this. Whoa! That was a pretty solid hit. Okay, now we're going to go down the line. So the wall's still standing, not too much damage. So I want looseness, I want flexibility, I want freewheeling. I don't want to be stiff, wooden. I don't want to do that. I want to get this feeling of looseness. And then when I come through, thrust. It's a hip thrust. So I'm going up and gathering, and it looks like this. That felt pretty good. Boy, that went about 30 feet. New local world's record. Cheers. Happy New Year, everybody. Hope that helps all you seekers. See you doing better this year. Out.